Hi, Never Ending Pickup Pal. We're going to be looking at some current energies. I did some paintings on small cards. We're going to use a number system just to get an energy. I'm curious to see how they work. So, there's minor things, I think, with these cards. I don't think they're used for such major aspects, okay? There's some grounding, there's some air energy. This one did fly out. It's good luck, this one, for money. It's definitely an earth energy. And you got it the opposite. So you're trying to manifest something. Let's see. Well, it's communication. There's one or more person involved, but it could get emotional. There's something that was revealed to you that you're being quiet about. Let's see. There's earth energy here, easy. These cards really want to talk. Earth energy, manifestation, what is that about? The good luck card. Not saying anything. Why is water here? Serenity. You got the sun, so I said that was a good card here. And then you got stability, sorry. And that's what I would have said on the back of this card is stability. What's this communication that you're looking for, but you're afraid that it's emotional, but you already know something about it, okay? So let's see what that is. What's the communication that they already know for their greatest good? What's the block in that, okay? It's definitely a playful energy. There's been growth in a situation even when there's differences. There was woundedness on both sides, but there was also loyalty on both sides and a sense of belonging. Curious. So the cards were green. There's something that you knew, and that's what you knew. Let's see why it's emotional. Stability is a great thing to have, so there shouldn't be any emotional factors in there, but I want to get a smaller look. Yeah, well, there's Five of Cups energy, and there's an overburdened energy, doing a lot. And then there's Five of Cups. Five of Cups came first. Let's see what that's about. The underlining energy is closed off. And toxicity. Closed off is at the bottom of the deck. Maybe the emotions have to be looked at a different perspective, not so much as the wave crashing down, but as the push and pull of an even flow behind it. So behind the toxicity, there might be something. Let's see what this burden is. It says bound. Sorry. Some card, eh? We got a dream and we got a lot of thoughts. Okay? So, in the emotions, and some of them are heavy. Somebody's daydreaming a lot. Are you manifesting negatively and don't even know it? Be careful of that. You find the clarity you need, thank God, because something you have to look inside yourself and finish a cycle out. You're still in a cycle. You're thinking about it. You're also looking forward to something growing here, with the flowers, something, hoping that you can ground the energy here and stabilize it in a conversation. So this, I said one or more person. Let's see what their thoughts are. Okay, in the air, please. Upside down. I think they're holding back. They're protective. They like to nurture, but they're protective of who they select to nurture, in that aspect. Thanks for helping me look to see what these cards are doing. External party, it's a situation around you that might be toxic. You often think about it, but your dreams and your ambitions and your stability and your peace overweigh, and I think that's why the burden is here. Which is a good burden to have, because you're looking at, past the toxicity. You're not absorbing that. You're not paying attention to it. There's a summer energy, something in the summer you're looking forward to. You're looking past the illusions and looking for a brighter future. You're really carrying a feminine energy to do that. It's like a love that doesn't need to even be spoken in the clarity. You love so deep. Why are you so protective here? Let's get a smaller aspect of that in a crystal formation. Why are you so protective? You got jade. You got prosperity. You got harmony. You got a golden tiger's eye of abundance. You got a lot of confidence behind you. Wisdom, prosperity. With the sapphire and the rose quartz with the loving and healing. That's your inner, what you're dealing with, and not saying nothing. And because you're not saying nothing and only thinking about it, a lot of opportunities are passing you by while responsibilities feel heavy. I don't know where that came in. When you should be enjoying them. That's what I mean. That inner child came upside down. Not enjoying it, you're not enjoying something, This is an external party that you're not enjoying. It's toxic to you. You think about it often, but you control the thought and you bring it to a lighter thing. That's the manifestation I'm talking about, and that would be masculine energy. So you got feminine energy and masculine energy on the board, which tells me you're trying to balance something in stability. Maybe within your thoughts, with the way you feel and confusing emotions, because you had nothing but clarity and beautifulness with the jade here and the tiger's eye, which is also protective energy. So, your crystals really are going with it. I'm curious to see what will come out for you. You're very earthy, very grounded, whoever you are. You're very methodically stable. You don't want nothing to rock the boat. You feel you've got enough on your plate, and that could be coming from the masculine's energy. Let's see, one more for the masculine, one more for the energy. Well, I grabbed two, so I'll read them. Upside down, unexpected, something that's unexpected and forgiven. Something happened with a male energy. I could say that, and the fact that you could forgive it was kind of hard to do. Showed strength in you. You used that peridot, like a peridot energy, very purple, knowing clarity. So maybe you're balancing with inside yourself, you know? And I think that's something, you know, and I touched the dream card with that. Maybe that's something that you wanted to do, you know, 1027. So we've got, you know, an ending of a protective, repeated cycle that bring clarity in for you. We've got learning when to recognize that the thoughts of manifestation are getting heavy and that you have the energy to switch them off. Extreme passion to process, to what's that word I'm looking for, to deliver. Yeah, one for their current energies, please. One for their current energies, their thoughts. One for their current energies, for their greatest good, that they could be aware of at this time. One for their greatest good. Okay. You got Moonstone. Live your purpose. Something you're questioning, something you're thinking about. And that's great, you know, because don't let that burdensome feeling here stop your creativity. I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to try to seal that as a sealing energy. Add love here with some healing. You already have the ability to ground in a force stability thing here, you know, and you let the sun in no matter how much it gets through. Just saying. You'll look for clarity here and protection. Clarity and protection. Why is that? Let's get one more on that. Why? The need to protect. Whoa. Look, words for yourself. You know what you're doing. You know, I just want you to know that you know what you're doing. You know, on the bottom of the card, we have, you need a timeout. You know, you've been distant for a minute. Doing your self-care, and you've been really reflecting and dreaming on memories. Something you're holding on to. Why that unfinished cycle? Like you'll always protect these people. This could be your family, how you feel. You're always looking for opportunity for growth. You're always looking to find a better way to be stable. Always looking down a path, and you pay attention to what's rocky here. You know, I painted that. And then you see a softer side to something. You feel very, very protected. Jade energy, which is here. You put forth something that is going to change a lot of things for you. Your willpower, for one, is extraordinary. See the protection here? You know, the energy of not letting energy in. You can observe it, but you're not letting it in. There's almost a casing around that person. You see that? And that's what I'm trying to explain in my way. Let's get a small breakdown. But I really love this energy. I mean, to add to it, you know, is almost shameful. But I would like to get a smaller breakdown on that energy and why the need to be distance. You know, there's a little nostalgia here with memories right here. See? and further, and I'd like to use it in a positive way, like you would like to grasp it, as they're getting further and further away. Your thoughts, you're controlling that in a moonstone energy to provide light into an outcome. You shouldn't even be looking for the outcome. It should be enjoying it from what the cards are saying. Don't try to figure it out. Live it, right? High Priestess energy. You know this. You made choices. You know, some of your choices keep bringing you back. The toxicity is a total choice. Three more on the thought about that. Three more on the thought about that. Well, you got the Seven of Swords, taking what you need out of it, and that's about it. You realize and recognize that it's combat and strife, you know, over the toxicity. The next card would have been, you contemplate for a second, why would I walk away, or should I stay, or should I go now? Don't do that. Something you're working on, something that you want for yourself, you know, and it's better self-care. It's a better way of living. It's a more stable way of living, you know, and that's not celebrating. You know, you think that moving in that way is not a celebration. You feel moving in a certain way is not, and toxicity is under that. So let's see why and how, because a lot of people, you know, would recognize that you change this way to turn something into positive, like the Emperor can. You're protecting more than one person, and your choices here were maybe in the past you didn't, and you recognized how protective you were. That's why my card came upside down. Mm-hmm. We're going to bring my cards into it. You know, you were concentrating more on the crash other than, like I said, the push, pull. That why, or the reflection to why you were being pushed and pulled towards that area. It's nostalgic. You finally realized that and became the Emperor yourself. Let's see what's so unexpected right here. You know, you got an unexpected, something unexpected for the greater good. The cards just got quiet. It's an idea, but they're not going to tell you. High Empress, you know, energy, you already know. You know, that's a high energy. That's your Empress. That's you. You get the Empress and the Emperor on the board right here. You see. 18, 19. Both upright. You know, there, you know, you might be the type of person that has a very passionate soul, you know, very strong leader, and it took an emperor to realize, wow, it's equal in I don't know, something in equal in both. Something was realized. The way that's coming into the whole channel. That's the nostalgia, the power trip. Page message, page about the swords over here. Keeping very grounded with something. You know there's something coming to you that's beneficial, and you're protecting and you're analyzing like these crystals are showing. But the fact that you're doing that is extraordinarily beneficial to all parties. Memories. These memories of fighting. It's ridiculous. Yeah, walk away from that, you know? You know, there's a lot. That's what's coming in the duality of number 11 in Gemini. There's a lot of fighting here, push and pull between one person. Could be a feminine energy. Yes, it's a yes card. Could be dealing with a Pisces and an Aries. We do have Cancer here. We have Earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Aries, Leo, Sag, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. On the board, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Again, manifestation all forms. One more, please. A free card factor for that. Rose quartz. Lovely rose quartz. Well, there's a Knight of Pentacles. You know, a message about your resources. You know, try not to overspend or stupidly spend. Sit back and wait. You're waiting on something. Sit back and wait. King of Pentacles. It's going to be beneficial to you. And then you're going to kick into high mode. Maybe a new job is coming up. You feel trapped at another place that you work at. Yeah, you want to change something. Knight of Swords. You want movement and work. Yeah. But you have no choice but not to move. You have no choice but not to move. So maybe it's a location thing, you know. You could look at it like that too. I don't know, there's a path you're going down. You know, it's got a lot of prosperity, a lot of sun, a lot of stability. You're stable. You let these thoughts, you know, kind of get into your head, get out of your head, where you feel trapped and want to automatically run. You think that moving or, you know, relocation helps. It might not this time. I'm not saying, you know, don't be stagnant because of this reading. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that maybe, you know, there's a person that moves a lot and maybe they just have to sit still for a minute. Yeah, there's a running off to. Try to sit still for a minute. I mean, that's the advice I'm going to give. Because you're already stable. You already got the sun. You got the dreams. You got this nostalgia off the table. You're basically stable, feminine and masculine wise, which means your moods are stable, which is a good thing. Don't let your thoughts get to you. You know what I mean? And don't think of just a fight. So yes, they come across your head or an incident or whatever you in, you know, that was negative might cross your head, but don't stay there just like a rearview mirror. You look back, it's like, alright, and then you move forward. Alright, guys, I'm going to end this because it's a great reading. You got this, is what it would have been called. You got this. But I don't like to put titles to it, but you really do got this. Alright.